स्थापकाय सदास्य सर्वदा स्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the supreme incarnation of God, who came to establish religion universal. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Sri Ramakrishna established religion universal. That means the Vedantic religion. Vedanta is the future religion of the universe. It indicates all the beings are united in Vedanta. There is no distinction there. All distinctions are integrated. Many become one. That is Vedanta. Unity in diversity. So today's topic, I am speaking on the subject, the 4 cardinal pillars of spiritual life. We are building spiritual life now. The building should have cardinal support, pillars. Without the support, strong, stable support, building cannot stand. So it is very important for us to know what are these 4 strong and stable pillars of spirituality. Each pillar is very important and very significant in building our spiritual life. So we have to focus on these 4 pillars seriously and sincerely. So that is the first lesson in Vedanta, Shravan. Just hear what is to be applied. Then the second step is application, not simply hearing and going away. No. You hear it, so it remains with you, it sustains you, and it takes you upward. It takes you upwards. That means it raises you from the moribund, worldly way of life into higher spiritual life, finally taking you to the abode of peace and bliss. So the first important pillar in spiritual building is viveka, discrimination. So this Vedantic religion is based on complete self-analysis. We can say it is based on firmly on scientific way of looking life. Its approach is also scientific. So it applies quite nicely to our modern way of thinking, because we think we are more scientific in modern days. But I should say we are unscientific in understanding religion. But Vedanta makes you scientific in thinking about religion. So religion does not mean dogmas, some kind of blind belief, etc. It is based on knowledge. Knowledge is bliss. Knowledge is bliss. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Satyam, truth, Jnanam, knowledge, Anantam, endless, infinite. That is Brahma. So, the first pillar, Viveka. It is the understanding or observation that everything is changing. Every moment, everything is changing. Changes not only the prices of shares that keep ticking on the screen, but also in your thoughts and emotions. Every moment they keep on changing. For instance, you cannot maintain the same degree of sadness every day, all the time. You can never be unhappy for the same reason continuously. How does it help to know that everything changes? The moment you see that things are changing, simultaneously you start seeing that the one who is observing the change is not changing. The observer is not changing. The reference point of change is non-change. Second point, Drik is the self. Drishya or everything else. Drik Drishya, Viveka, there is a text on Vedanta. Very famous text. Everything is an object except myself. One can begin this practice by seeing quite clearly that everything external to my body is an object of observation, known by me as an object which changes. Then what about the body? Is it an object? Am I aware of it? Can I watch it change? The answer is yes. What about the sense organs? Are they objects? Am I aware of them? Am I aware whether they are working or not? The answer is yes. Do all these objects change? Yes. Can I observe them change? Again, yes. Moving. What about thoughts? What about moods? What about emotions? Are they objects? Objects of observation? Do they change? Can I watch them change? Again, yes. But is there something in all of this, something about me which does not change? Is there something which is always constant to every thought, mood, emotion, sensation, and object of cognition? What is about me which does not change? What is that? That which does not change and is me is the self, capital S, self. That is Atman, we call it in Sanskrit. He is Brahman. Can the mind make this differentiation, this distinction this discrimination between that which doesn't change and that which does, yes, it can. One should discriminate between real and the unreal. And the mind should be turned away from the unreal. When you know a thing is unreal, you should immediately discard it. Don't unnecessarily bother about the things which are unreal. That's the point. Swami Brahmananda Ji, the spiritual giant, I should say, of the Ramakrishna order, was directly trained by Sri Ramakrishna himself. The first president of the Ramakrishna order, the realized soul. He said, in the domain of Maya, there is both Vidya, that which leads a man to God, that's called Vidya, and Avidya, that which leads a person away from God. Vidya is spiritual discrimination and renunciation. Viveka and Tyaga. By taking refuge in Vidya, you take refuge in God. While Avidya, which consists of lust, anger, greed, egotism, attachment and envy, drags a person down to the level of a brute. If you cultivate discrimination and renunciation, Avidya will be destroyed. If you yield to Avidya, God remains far away and suffering will be your lot. That means you are the cause of your suffering, none else. No one else is responsible for one's suffering. Each one is responsible for oneself. You suffer because of avidya. You suffer because you are not applying the faculty of discrimination. You are not aware of discrimination. There are both vidya and avidya. Man has the power to choose the one or the other. And on the nature of his choice will depend his success or failure in life. And he will reap the fruits of his choosing. That's the way it works. Practice, continual practice and discrimination are what are needed. Whatever you have to do for people, do so with the idea that you are serving divine in those forms. Then you won't get attached too much. And along with all this, you must have your power of discrimination wide awake. The discrimination between the real and unreal gives rise to detachment. That's the result of discrimination. Retire into solitude occasionally. Practice discrimination and self-analysis and try to discover the subtle obstacles that obstruct your path to spiritual progress. You will find that there are many subtle impressions, habits of thought and action lying dormant and hidden in the subconscious regions of the mind. Analyze yourself in solitude. Observe yourself. Find out the obstacles and then struggle without compromise to remove them. That means effort. Practice, practice, practice. Very, very, very essential. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Haven't you seen the trees on the footpath along the street? They are fenced around as long as they are very young, otherwise cattle destroy them. But there is no longer any need of fences when their trunks grow thick and strong. Then they won't break even if an elephant is tied to them. Just so. There will be no need for you to worry and fear if you make your minds as strong as a thick tree trunk. First of all, try to acquire discrimination. Break the jackfruit open only after you have rubbed your hands with oil. Then sticky milk won't smear them. Then the question was asked, what is discrimination? Sri Ramakrishna says, his own definition of discrimination he gives. Discrimination is the reasoning by which one knows that God alone is real, all else is unreal. Real means eternal, and unreal means impermanent.